And Cathy McMorris Rodgers of Spokane. She joins me now. Congresswoman, thank you so much for coming on.
Great to be with you.
It's a wide-reaching plan. It covers a ton of really big issues. So first, what was the impetus for this initiative to happen right now?
Well, it really began with Paul Ryan when he became Speaker. And he's been Speaker now for 8.5 months. He immediately launched this agenda project. He believed that it was very important as we were heading into 2016 and this most important election where the stakes couldn't be higher as you think about the presidency, the Supreme Court, the Senate, and the House, that we were defining who we were as Republicans and what we stood for and what we believed to be the solutions of the day. We've long talked about a replacement to our current tax code. And he said, we got to put it forward. We got to put forward that bold tax plan that lowers rates, streamlines the tax code, allows you to file on the back of a postcard. We've talked about replacing Obamacare. What does that look like? Rethinking the poverty programs. The question as to how do we keep America safe and secure, especially as we're seeing homegrown terrorism now and the threats around the world growing. And then the final plank is the constitutional authority. Restoring trust and confidence in representative government, we the people. And what are those things that need to change so that people all across this country are confident that representatives are the ones that they can hold accountable, are the ones that are making decisions?
Yeah, and to that point, politicians on either side of the aisle, they'll always say what they stand for, but they don't necessarily tell us exactly what the issues are that they're going to specifically go after and how. So a key issue that I know you are pushing hard for is the USA Act. It goes after what's called zombie programs. How do you explain it? Because it sounds like a bipartisan issue.
Well, I hope it is. This is an effort to go after hundreds of programs and agencies that have exceeded their authorization, and we've termed them, the zombie programs. They exist. They continue to get funding, but Congress has failed to do its important job of reviewing these programs, rethinking them, and sometimes eliminating them. They've exceeded their purpose. So the USA Act, the Unauthorized Spending Accountability Act, what it would mean is that it would, over a period of time, it would address all of these unauthorized spending programs. And if if it hasn't been reauthorized, if Congress hasn't taken action after it's exceeded its deadline, then it would get a 10% cut that year. And it would continue to force Congress to be doing its job. Because what happens is that you have these agencies and these departments that are operating without the congressional review and the accountability that comes as members of Congress and the senators are actually reviewing, asking the questions, at times, modernizing, rethinking how programs should function, and then at other times, just letting different programs go by the wayside. They've served their purpose. Eliminate them. Stop funding them.
You're also touting sort of this different look at health care. How is the plan that's being promoted right now different from Obamacare? And is it that they both exist, or would this be a replacement?
This is really as we believe the future of health care should be. It's a repeal of Obamacare and then a replacement that gets the decision-making back to the individuals and families. And it's eliminating the mandates on the states, the individual mandates, the employer mandates, the other requirements that have been put on the states, and allowing a marketplace to exist where people can go into the marketplace and get the plans that's going to best meet their needs, bringing back competition, bringing transparency of cost, expanding health savings accounts, allowing people to go beyond state lines. But it also includes a refundable tax credit for those who to ensure that everyone does have access to health care. And that's the way that we really try to set it up so that the individual is in charge of their health care decisions.
Talking with Congresswoman Cathy McMorris Rodgers, Republican of Spokane. And as you know, Congresswoman, none of what you're talking about can just happen overnight. You have to maintain control of the House to start with. So how confident are you moving into this election cycle that you're going to retain that power so you can actually get some of these programs pushed?
Well, our goal is to take these ideas, this Better Way agenda to the country, to engage people all across this country and to build support, actually build a mandate for this type of an approach. And our hope in all of that is that people will then want to vote for people that support this better way agenda and create not just a choice, but ultimately a mandate. Clearly, this election and the decisions that are made are going to influence the direction that this country takes. And I believe it is very important that these are the kind of solutions that are going to restore a government of the people, by the people, for the people, and it's going to be up to us to really educate people, build support, build momentum for this type of an approach. And hopefully then that will be reflected in the people that are elected.
How much of this initiative is a direct response to the idea of Donald Trump as a nominee? Because this is about specifics, right? And,
Yes.
Donald Trump has been a lot about generalities, and he's going to create the best health care system, but doesn't actually say what it is. So how much of this was pushed because of the prospect of Donald Trump as a nominee?
Well, this project was started in the fall, almost as soon as right after Paul Ryan became Speaker. He started talking about the Agenda Project, and he wanted to just put this forward. Now, clearly, with Donald Trump as our presumptive nominee, you can see where it would work well. I remind people that Barack Obama didn't write the Affordable Care Act.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't write Dodd-Frank. It was really the House and Senate under Nancy Pelosi's leadership and Harry Reid's leadership that wrote that legislation, that passed that legislation. And to a certain degree, Barack Obama, he certainly was talking about it, but he wasn't the one that was writing it or making it happen. And when Donald Trump came and visited the Republicans last week, the House and Senate Republicans, I was encouraged to hear him saying that he wanted to work with us, that Paul Ryan and his team have spent hours with Donald Trump and his team talking about this Better Way agenda and going into the specifics of these proposals so that they would be not just informed, but ultimately that they can hopefully embrace them. Paul Ryan, he reflects on the late 70s when his mentor, Jack Kemp, was putting together the economic package that ultimately became Ronald Reagan's economic package, and that leading up to those years when Ronald Reagan was elected in 1980, that it was really a group of members in the House that had done the work, put it together, and set it up. And Speaker Ryan believes clearly that these are the solutions that we need to be promoting as Republicans. This is who we are as Republicans. This is what we believe are the policies that are going to ensure that everyone in this country has an opportunity for a better life, and that they have the freedom and the opportunity to pursue their own dreams. Now, I'm hopeful, and I know that there's been a lot of conversations that Donald Trump and his team will start embracing more of these types of solutions.
How anxious are you that he might not? How anxious are you that a plan, an initiative that seems very thoughtful and very specific, how anxious are you that he is going to derail this?
Well, I'm encouraged with the conversations, and we are, as Republicans in the House, just going to continue to work on this. Just this week, we passed the Separation of Powers Act, which is part of the constitutional authority plank within this Better Way agenda, and it's restoring the balance of power that must take place. And we're just going to keep passing the bills, promoting these ideas, building the support, and doing our jobs. That's step one, and that's what Americans have wanted from us. They've wanted us to exercise the power of the purse and restore the decision making here. Americans recognize that the balance of power is out of balance. That the executive branch, these agencies, they refer to it as the fourth branch of government, are writing rules, regulations, executive orders without a vote of the people, without input of the people or the people's representatives. And it's not the way that our form of government was established. And then the judicial branch is making decisions on the Supreme Court and other courts that don't reflect the will of the people. And the people are crying out for us to step up and restore representative government and to restore this balance of power that is so fundamental to who we are as Americans. And that's where I'm hopeful that no matter who's, and that's where I'm hopeful, that no matter who's elected president, that we're going to see a return to a government that is centered around the people through the people's representatives.
Last two very quick questions. Mike Pence today, it's reported he is going to be the nominee for Donald Trump. What's your reaction? Are you happy with that selection?
You know, I have served with Mike Pence, and the fact that he will be on the ticket, the fact that he has served in the House of Representatives, he's been a governor, I believe that he brings some really important experience to the ticket. He has working relationships with us, which will be so important as we move forward, and that gives me a lot of hope.
Last question. RNC convention, of course, is coming up on Monday. I'll be there broadcasting live. I know you'll be there as well. We keep seeing reports of potential protests that could turn violent. Do you have any fear as to the safety of folks who are attending the convention?
I know that they're taking all steps possible to make sure that the people are safe and secure. Clearly, this is a big event, and I just hope that people do stay calm and that we maintain that basic civility and respect and make sure that the process continues.
There you go. The initiative, again, is called A Better Way. We've got it linked up on our website at mynorthwest.com. Congresswoman Cathy McMorris Rodgers of Spokane, thank you so much for coming on with us.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.